Bum,
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 ba-da-da,
ba-da-da,
bum,
bum,
bum.
bum.
Bring.
Bring.
There it is. There's the Bindi on a Thursday morning. Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. I'm Marcus Grant. That is Greg Bergman. Happy make it to the quarterfinals day? Is that worth a Bindi for USA Baseball
I mean,
yesterday?
if we had lasers, I guess. Do you consider that lasers are for winners because you put, they didn't win, but they won because they got through? I don't know. What's the right way to go in that situation?
Yeah, that is a good question. That is uncharted territory for us, and I guess we'd have to wait another 3 years to sort of figure it out because the moment's done now. We'll talk some USA baseball. We'll also talk some Dodger baseball since yesterday was a very heavy World Baseball Classic day. We should get back to the team that we actually are supposed to be talking about on this show. But first, want to let you know that the Blue Review is powered by LAX. We're taking off. Learn more about all the incredible changes happening now at LAX by going to lawa.org/ESPN. So let's start with what happened in
So can I just say,
Houston. Yes, please.
Sorry, I don't know I think, just so we're all clear, and I would just put it out there right now, I'm frozen on my screen and I can't really see you, but I can see that it's normal. So I can't see your cadence right now. I'm going to just go off of your voice. I'm just letting you know ahead of time because all I see is my face going like this.
Oh, well, if it makes any difference to you, you are not frozen on my screen. Now you're a little bit laggy and delayed.
Okay.
But you're moving for what it's
Perfect. Okay,
so
I'm delayed. Okay, that's fine. As long as is my voice delayed too?
No,
or is it just
your visuals. That's all.
Beautiful. All right, then we can move on and I can make it work.
All right, sweet.
All right, where are we starting?
Well, let's start down in Houston, where thanks to the grace of the Italians, the Americans are moving on. And I really spent a long time. Look, I'm not a history buff at all, but I was like Googling and Wikipediaing like anything in the history of U.S.-Italy relations to try and make some sort of analogous joke about it. But there really is nothing there. So thank you, Italy, for taking care of business and winning Pool B. I guess that's the big surprise, right? Like nobody expected anyone other than the Americans to win Pool B, and yet here we are, US the 2 seed coming out of that pool. That's the surprise.
Right, and part of it, like for me, a little bit. I talked about it a little bit on DeMarco and Travis yesterday, and does it feel a little like dirty to get in this way? Obviously I want US to win. I want them to win the whole thing. I want them to move forward. But because Mark DeRosa was such an idiot and we had to watch that game with bated breath because, what if they only score 4 runs and they win the game, then they're going to move forward. It was kind of like, well, that's what you deserve then because you didn't know the rules. The job of the manager, especially on this team, where all you have to, we talked about it yesterday, all you have to do is be like, who's going to go ahead of Aaron Judge? Kyle Schwarber? Or is it going to be Bryce Harper? Or like Alex Bregman? Which superstar I think I'm gone. Okay, is going to go in it. So it almost feels like I was kind of hoping it was going to happen because it's say like Mark DeRosa, you're an idiot, but I'm happy they moved on. They just kind of don't deserve it. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. I'm of the opinion. I'm like just survive in advance. You know, it's like the NC2A tournament. Survive in advance, and then we'll see what happens here. The crazy part is now that they've done this. I mean, this team is good enough that they can still win the whole thing. I will say that after having watched them in pool play, I might be leaning a little bit more toward the Dominican Republic as the team to beat now in this tournament because they are absolutely loaded and they are playing great baseball right now. The Italians sort of have that feel of a team of destiny at this point just because of what they are doing to people. But yeah, the Americans, I think, just on paper are the favorite. But I think if you look at what they are doing on the field, they are not. But I got to survive in advance. So you made it through. Congratulations. Maybe now get your stuff tightened up and figure out what you have to do going forward. But you brought up a couple interesting questions about this in the pre-show. about maybe tying sort of some of the stuff back to the Dodgers and that sort of thing. What was it?
So basically, does it make you appreciate Dave Roberts more knowing that they just won 2 World Series and it's not as easy as just put a bunch of guys on a piece of paper and just say go? That Dave Roberts pulled all the right moves, and we can appreciate that because this is a group of superstars. Every single one of these guys are superstars, and Mark DeRosa is they losing to Italy, not caring, going out the night before and drinking, and he's just not anybody that thinks that they can get off their couch and coach and manage the Dodgers to a victory is wrong. Like I felt that way too. I was like, oh, well, they should be able to do it. If I got out there, we could win 90 games. You know what? You can't. All right, that's not going to happen because I'm going to want to have fun. I want to go get drunk with Shohei Ohtani and not be doing my job as well. So it makes me appreciate Dave Roberts just that much more. How about you?
No, I think you're right. I think there's something to that. And I think I feel like we started to understand that and appreciate that more this past year in the 2025 season, just because yes, they were superstars, but they had the issue of now everybody has a target on them. And I think it's more for Dave Roberts, I would even say this about Phil Jackson when he was coaching the Lakers. It's about sort of managing personalities and understanding how to motivate guys, understanding that some guys need a pat on the back and they need an attaboy, and some guys just need a kick in the butt and what the hell's wrong with you? And it's sort of understanding which kind of guy is which. It is about giving guys that feel good moment to get going. I mean, how much did we talk about the Andy Pages hug last year, right? That was such a big thing that he gave Andy Pages a hug, and that seemed to get Pages going again. We talked about, Roki Sasaki being in tears and Dave just comforting him. And yeah, there was a long road to get to October, but he got him there. So I do think there's something to be said for, hey man, Dave Roberts isn't just picking names out of a hat and rolling out there with $1 billion lineup and winning games. I do think there's something to be said for managing. The other part of this, Greg, is that Dave Roberts would know the Dodgers' magic number. He wouldn't just be like, "Oh yeah, no, we already clinched the NL West. It's fine. Let's just keep rolling out."
Right.
Hey, we're gonna start Will Klein today. We're gonna give him 6 innings just because we already won the division. When the Padres are still like half a game back or something like that.
Right. So it's sorry. Tim came in. He was trying to fix the screen. He was trying to fix the audio and all that.
I was sort of filibustering a little bit. I could tell you were doing.
Yeah, I know it. I appreciate it because on my screen, even on YouTube, it looks like I'm just frozen anyway.
You're frozen
so nobody
now,
else can
yeah.
see it but you.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you for doing that. But no, it's just nice to know that you have a manager in Dave Roberts that is going to understand rules and understand the right buttons to push and pull the right levers and all those stupid different ways to say it. But it's seeing Mark DeRosa out there and being such a dummy. It really just annoys me at how bad he was at what he was supposed to do, and he shouldn't be. That should be the ultimate. Okay, we're just here, go and do it. But then if Travis also made a good point yesterday, if they want to be serious about this, if they want the WBC to be a real thing, they want it to be along the lines of the World Cup. They want it to be the lines of even Olympic basketball or Olympic anything. That you have to have a manager that knows how to manage, that has been a manager or at least been sitting on a bench. If you went out and got Mike Scioscia and put him out there, that would have worked. If we would have gone out there and got, I'm blanking on his name, when it was Angels and Chicago Cubs.
Joe Madden?
Joe Madden, yeah. Joe Madden. If you had some of those guys, though they would at least know what they're doing and would understand the rules, I think that would have made a massive, massive difference too. And now Tim's back in here, so filibuster.
All right, I will filibuster some more. Yeah, I do sort of wonder about, USA Baseball in the sense of, do they need kind of not a full-time coach, but a dedicated manager, right? Somebody who can, one, sort of identify players to have on a team, right? And it's sort of easy for the World Baseball Classic. You got major leaguers playing, and it's just like you just pluck this guy. Hey, do you want to play? Hey, Aaron Judge, do you want to play? Hey, Logan Webb, do you want to play? And then bring them in there. But I think there's also something to building a team and to understanding what sort of players you need. Hey, look, yes, it's great to have guys with power in the middle of the lineup, but do we need a guy who can get on base, a guy who can move runners over, drive runners in? Do we need somebody in the middle of the bullpen that potentially can be an innings guy for us? And like, I get it, you're not building a team for 162, you're building one for a short tournament. But I think that idea is there of having somebody sort of dedicated to this whole thing. I do think some of the other part of this is, and we talked about this a little bit yesterday, is I think the players just sort of need to sort of have a different perspective on this, because we've seen it with the other countries. Even the Italians that are, mostly American guys that just have Italian heritage, they seem to have a different mindset about playing for Team Italy than the Americans do about playing for Team USA. And that's not something, I don't know, maybe that's something that a manager can do, is sort of instill that. I didn't see the Aaron Judge pregame speech. I heard it was less than inspiring. I just think there's got to be something to kind of get these guys sort of a little bit more fired up about playing in this tournament, and not Bryce Harper saying, hey man, it's cool, but it's not the Olympics.
It's not the Olympics. Yeah, I mean, first of all, I don't know if Aaron Judge would inspire me. I mean, he's big. Maybe inspire me to like not get hit in the face because he's so giant. But I think if the person that's going to do that would, if you look at that roster, I mean, Bryce Harper would be the first one that would come to mind, being the guy that's going to speak. He's the most outspoken in the media. He's the one that like kind of speaks for American baseball just in general. So he would be that guy. But if he doesn't care because he doesn't think it's the Olympics, how is he going to inspire them to get to that place? You know what I mean? So like, I can't see the guys that, and maybe in 3 years it'll be something different. And you know what? Maybe they'll go on and they'll win the whole thing because this was the little kick in the ass that they needed to get to that point. Like, oh man, we look like dummies right now. Like our manager looks stupid. We lost to the Italians. Like I know they went 4-0, but we lost to them when we're favorites in this entire thing. We kind of look stupid right now. We better go out and win the whole thing, and it possibly could happen. So that's the only part of it for me that I see somebody in the chat that was saying that they're just not likable. And like if you look at the players, so it's JF. He says with Aaron Judge, Bergman, Harper, Dumper. He says dump ass, but it's Dumpers. Dumper, and moron coach. Not gonna lie, it's hard to root for them. Look, you're not wrong. We're rooting for the USA because they're USA and we want them to win. But like the DR, like you said, they look like they're just having a blast. And the DR, by the way, is all dudes from the Padres, so nobody wants that. But the fact of the matter is, they actually look like they're having fun. Japan looks like they're having fun. Korea looks like they're having a blast. I mean, everybody does except for the United States, and that has to change and moving forward for this tournament to be as big as we want it to be.
True. So my last thing on this, and then we can actually talk about the Dodgers since that's what we're supposed to do. I thought about this yesterday. I think some of it, at least in terms of the attitude, comes from we as Americans have this thing about celebrating during sports, and it's the whole act like you've been there before. And I am taking a new tack on this. My new attitude toward stuff like that is, you know what? Act like you might never get there again. Because I think there's a real danger of that in pro sports, right? It's the belief, like, hey, we all believe the Dodgers are good enough to win another World Series. We all hope they do, but after '88, there was a long wait before the Dodgers won another World Series again, right? Ask a Cub fan who was around in 1908. I mean, I don't think any of them are still around anymore. But ask a Cub fan in 1908, hey man, yeah, we're gonna win another one. It's fine. So like maybe we should just change that to act like you're never gonna be there again, or act like it's that you might not pass this way again, because you might never. So enjoy the moment a little bit more. That's all.
Absolutely. Like sports are fun. Sports is an entertainment product. I know that's John Ireland saying, but sports are fun. Playing baseball is fun. If you strike a guy out, be like Alex Vesey and scream and get all excited. Okay, have a bat flip. Like be emotional about it. It's an emotional game. Going about it so very like, especially in this type of tournament when it's
Yeah.
countries versus countries. I get it a little bit in regular baseball, but I don't really get it in this. Just have fun, be excited, show passion. Everything we do should show passion, and that to go about it it's so workmanlike. Oh, we've been there before. No, you haven't,
Dude,
and you're not probably gonna get back.
nothing gets me more fired up than a Shohei bat flip and scream. Because knowing just how
No,
reserved he is normally, like
right?
when he bat flips and he screams at the dugout, like that gets me going, man. That gets me so going. So,
Absolutely.
anyway, let's talk to Dodger baseball. A thing you mentioned at the end of yesterday's show that we didn't get to because we were talking a lot of World Baseball Classic. Roki Sasaki. Um, they sent him back to the backfields, let him get some work in, and it seems like at least in one start, things are on the up. Right? He went and pitched really, really well. I know it's not, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, well, he's fixed, let's go, but it's encouraging to see that he was able to sort of rebound after a couple of kind of rough starts.
Yeah, no, it was nice to see him get out there. I know that he was throwing his splitter more than really basically anything, and that is 100% his out pitch. There's still things for him to work on, but the fact of the matter is that when he has that pitch working, then it offsets the fastball, and it can be completely devastating. So I know he's really trying to get that third pitch and working on two or three different pitches to be able to get to that third pitch. But the fact of the matter is, like, get your bread and butter down. Make sure you have it down and then you can kind of like mix them in. I understand that he was working on it, and that's the right way to go. But at least we now know that if he goes back to over there, he's going to be too good for the minor league system. That he's going to be just shoving on guys. So now he can come back and start pitching in regular games, regular spring training games again, and feel a little bit more confident about his other pitches and really just trying to hone in on that third pitch.
Yeah, I think that's sort of the goal, right? I mean, it's going to be hard to survive a full season as just a two pitch guy. So working that third pitch in, even if you don't use it a ton in the first year, it's using it enough so that people have to think about it. And I think that goes a long way. So it'll be interesting to see as he continues to develop that and kind of learns to control it a little bit more. That I think things will sort of get interesting for him. Article that came up a couple days ago from Sonia Chin at Dodgers.com about
Okay.
her projection for the opening day roster. And
Ooh, all right.
um, you know,
Surprises?
no mild surprises. I mean, look, you know this. We've talked about this before. Most of the roster is set. There may be a couple of small things here. So like catcher, Will Smith, Dalton rushing. No surprise whatsoever.
Easy. Yeah.
First base, Freddie Freeman. Second base, Hassan Kim, and hopefully again the hand injury is not a serious thing. So we'll see. Shortstop, Mookie Betts, of course. Third baseman, Max Muncy. Utility guys, Miguel Rojas and Santiago Espinal, which it was trending toward Espinal sort of taking that spot, which basically means Alex Freeland, unfortunately, despite having a good spring, probably starts the year at OKC. I mean, not a major surprise, but that Greg feels just like it just feels like a numbers game more than anything, and that Freeland just sort of lost out the numbers game in that one.
Yes, Espinal has been hitting the ball, and whereas Freeland walks a lot. So it's not
Yeah.
Freeland's been good, but Espinal came out and he just took the job. He was a non-roster invitee, and he just said, "Okay, I'm going to take this job," opposed to letting somebody just kind of back into it and me starting off in the minors. So he did a really good job. He's also, I think, like 31, has been around a little bit, moved
Yeah.
around from different teams. So it's a more of a veteran presence than Freeland would be. So Freeland can also just start the year in AAA. And guess what? He's going to come up
He'll
at some
be here.
point.
Yep.
Yeah, this is more so. This is how it's going to start. So I don't think Freeland should feel bad about it anyway. But either way, really nice job by Espinal to just take that job.
Yeah, for sure. The outfielders, Teoscar Hernandez, Andy Pajes, Kyle Tucker, and Alex Call, which, again, James Tibbs having a really great spring. He feels like a guy, too, that at some point we will see. But, look, Teoscar's going to be here. Pages is going to be here. Tucker's going to be here. Call, again, another veteran guy who, gives you a, kind of platoon option here. But I would think Tibbs sort of on that Freeland kind of track where, he's not going to start the year here, but I'd be surprised if we don't see James Tibbs at some point this year too.
Yeah, another guy that's going to come up at some point. The whole reason that you got Alex Call last year was because Andrew Friedman specifically believed in him and thought that he was a guy that had really good at bats and was somebody that was tough to get out. So if that's the case, and if that's how he's going to be, he's having a good spring. There's just no doubt about it. He's batting .467, and not in a lot of games, not in a lot of bats. They're kind of bringing him along slowly. But the fact is that he has good professional at bats, and Tibbs can just wait a little bit. Alex Freeland, James Tibbs, the other guy Zach Earhart, who's another guy that was talked about to go into that spot. He's just not ready yet. Unlike Espinal, who went out there and just grabbed it and said, "This is my spot." James Tibbs, he played very, very well, but at the same time, he didn't just go out and grab it. Didn't do enough to take it away from Alex Call to be able to supplant him. So Alex Call comes into it, and again, he has professional at bats. He's difficult to get out, and that's basically what you want from your fourth outfielder. Every time we talk about James Tibbs and Espinal, and I just think back to Katie Wu about just saying, we're really worried about the guy in the outfield, or somebody that's the platoon second baseman. That's where we're at right now. So, but it's important, and I get it. But the fact of the matter is that they didn't go out there and just take it from him.
I do love Katie coming on and basically politely telling us, just calm the hell down, guys. It's kind of what that was.
We're just asking questions.
We're just asking questions here. Continuing down this roster, the list, the Dodgers have a two-way player, Shohei Atani. I don't know who this player is. Shohei.
I've heard it turned around as Atani Shahihai.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure who he is. I hope it works out. We'll see.
Two-way. God, who does that?
Who does that? Right. So anyway, Shohei's the two-way player on the roster. Starters. You got Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Tyler Glasnow, Emmett Sheehan, Roki Sasaki. It seemed to be going this way for a while that Sheehan was going to be in the rotation. Obviously, this changes a little bit when Blake Snell comes back. Although I assume when Snell comes back, right, that's when they go six-man, because I know that the schedule sort of lends itself to they don't need a six-man rotation for at least the first month or so, right?
Yeah, they don't need it, and that's kind of why you can also just wait on guys at the same time, that you can wait. Like Snell missing the first month is just beneficial. Like, oh, well, the way that it works out in the off days and everything, you can kind of just rest for a little bit. Yeah. And that's fine. And that's great. I think he said it right after. I was so tired. I haven't played that many games in some time. That's your reasoning. Okay. All right. Like whatever you need, buddy. But
right. For sure.
This happens on your World Series winning team, and it's not 2020 and you only played 60 games in the season.
Right. So, yeah. When you show up in July and you're done by September, it's like it's a little bit different there at that point. And then quickly relievers before we get out of here: Edwin Diaz, the closer; Tanner Scott, Alex Vesia, Blake Trinan, Jack Dreyer, Justin Robleski, likely to move to the bullpen since he's probably not going to be in the rotation. Will Klein. Congratulations to the World Series hero from last year, but possibly locking. This is not in stone. This is just a projection. No. But Will Klein, Ben Casparius, and Edgardo Enriquez rounding out the bullpen there. So
that's great. And really, again, we've talked about it 1,000 times too, and it's my favorite thing to say, especially at the beginning of the year. Bullpens are volatile. They're going to change over and over and over again. The guys you see at the beginning of the season are not the guys you're going to see at the end of the season. Every single year. So there's going to be other people that are going to make this roster. There's going to be guys that come up. There's guys that go down. Guys are going to get injured. So just because this person is not that you're wanting on the roster is not there at the beginning doesn't mean there won't be at some. Did you say Kyle Hurt in that at all?
I did not. He's not on that list, but it concedes that he will probably be here at some point too.
Right, he'll be there. You'll probably see Paul Gervais at some point. There's guys that you will see in that there, and it's really guys that you'd never even heard of. Will be like, oh, where did he come from? You were a pitcher for the Kansas City Royals in 2021. You were good for a year, and somehow you made it back over here. They're gonna find and mix and match there. So there's always going to be different people going in and out.
Who is going to be this year's Lou Trevino? That's the question on the table right now. So, and we will all find out together as the season goes along. But that's a good spot for us to stop for the day. Thanks everybody in the chat as always for hanging out. Thanks to Tim who had to do some IT work all throughout the process of this show. So shout out to Tim.
And spoke French in the chat. So
right.
Right. Yeah, that was wild.
Oui, bonjour.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup. Zut alors. Anyway, that'll do it for this edition of the Blue Review presented by LAX. Stick around. The Sedano and Cap Morning Extravaganza coming up right here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. In the meantime, for Greg Bergman, I'm Marcus Grant. We will see you tomorrow, 6:30 to 6:55 right here on the ESPN LA YouTube channel. See you then, everybody.
See ya.